Winning cures everything. Now for your hosts, Gary and Chris.
Welcome in. Winning cures everything. It is Friday, July the 3rd. It is a national holiday, but we're here anyway. We got stuff to discuss.
Is it really a national holiday? July 3rd's not a national holiday.
It is this year. Hey, the banks are closed. The mail ain't running. I'm just saying.
That's just because folks don't want to work.
Well, I mean, yeah.
My trash got picked up and my mail did run.
Today?
Yeah.
That's
I
interesting.
just went out and got it.
Well, it's a national holiday in most of the places. So I had to change
Just
the
people that don't want to go to work.
Well,
and got bullshit jobs where you don't really have to do it every day.
I didn't have to go to work today. I mean, come on.
Because you got a bullshit job that's not really necessary.
That's terrible. How dare you? How dare you? I'm Gary.
And I'm Chris. And I had to work today. And I got to work tomorrow.
That's ridiculous.
On a real holiday.
Yeah, tomorrow is the real holiday. So it is July 4th weekend. No sports this year, though. I mean, we got, what, is UFC doing anything tomorrow?
I don't think so. But
I mean, who knows,
I
right?
Looked.
Yeah. I don't think UFC is tomorrow. They've got a big pay-per-view event coming up on July 11th. But
I was about to say, I thought it was in a week or two, but I didn't know.
Next weekend. So lots to discuss today. Of course, winningcureseverything.com is the website. Picks, previews, podcasts, videos, social media platforms. If you're watching the show right now, we appreciate you. You can always find us on Periscope, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. All of those are where we do the live show. So whichever platform you prefer, we will be right there. Joseph Gomez jumped in, said next week, skipped a week. Yes. Yes, UFC. Yeah. So that makes sense. I mean, why would you host something on July 4th? I understand. So,
well, I mean, to give us something to watch because we're all at home.
Yeah, and it's July 4th, so, you'd be able to get some people in on that. But next week will be fine. I think there will still be just as many people at home next week. We'll be all good. So, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, whatever your favorite podcast app is. It doesn't matter. We will be right there. Ben said, wow, Chris just totally dissed Gary's career choice. Hey, it's all good. I get a paycheck. I'm fine with it. I don't care what people think about my career. So,
he gets paid whether he goes to work or not. That's awesome.
Yeah, it works out
That's
pretty
not
well.
a diss.
Yeah, it works out pretty well.
I don't go to work today. I didn't get paid. I don't go to work tomorrow. I won't get paid.
Yeah. Joseph said, didn't want to compete with the thing, that huge hot dog eating contest. Yeah. No, we got that going on, which, hey, people are allowed to bet on now. People are allowed to bet on. And, UFC might have been scared off a little bit by Coach O deciding that he wanted to get into boxing. So I'm just saying, you don't want to compete with that. I don't know who would. But we're not going to discuss that today, though.
I wouldn't want to see him in a ring.
No, you got that right. That's a scary-looking individual, especially with them gloves on. All right, much to discuss today. Oh, and if you're watching the show right now, hit that share button, hit the retweet button, hit the like button, whatever. Do us a favor. Help share the show out. Tell your friends about it. Let's go. Oh, and I announced today on social media, on Twitter, whatever, that for those of you that have not caught it, we are joining Sportsbook Review for the college football season. Joseph said, fade Joey Chestnut minus 1,000, Stone and the field. I ain't going against Joey Chestnut. I'm just not. He's won it, 27 years in a row or whatever?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, Ben said, nice show yesterday, by the way. Chris, I am in the 10% who likes hockey. So,
I appreciate it.
Chris did a good job yesterday hosting the show solo. I got called away. I had duty. I actually had to work yesterday. So, Chris can diss on that. So, let's go ahead and dive into some news for today while we are here. David Njoku. I hope I say that correctly. That's how I've always said it. Yeah. Browns tight end. He's in the third year of his rookie contract. He has decided that he wants a trade, and he announced it today. Drew Rosenhaus reached out this morning to the Browns, let them know that he would prefer that it be set up and done before training camp, which is at the middle of August, the beginning of August? Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not really sure when they're setting training camp, but yeah, it's coming up.
So they would like to get that done, which, it opens later this month. So later on in July. Rosenhaus said it's in David's best interest to find a new team at this time. He broke his wrist last season, only appeared in 4 games. He has 93 catches for 1,066 yards and 9 touchdowns in his career thus far. Now, Chris, I'll go ahead and let you know. Oh, Ben said, where do we find the CFB show? It's on the Sportsbook Review YouTube page. So it'll be over there, and it'll be on the site. It'll be on winningcureseverything.com, and you can find it on our YouTube because we're going to link to it. So you'll be able to find it wherever you find us. Just follow us, and you'll be fine. Explain to us, Chris, why Njoku might be wanting a trade right now. It seemed like odd timing.
Yeah, so this is his 4th year. I'm sorry, this is 4th year of his rookie year.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, his rookie deal. Sorry, his So they signed Austin Hooper early in the free agency deals. I thought that was a strange signing because I think Njoku has a massive amount of potential, is a freak athlete. And his biggest issue last year was he broke his wrist early and didn't get to play the rest of the year. And then also the few games he did play, Baker was just flat out bad last year. I mean, he was terrible. Everybody's numbers last year offensively outside of Chubb, everybody who depended on Baker being good, everybody's numbers suffered. And so I just think them signing Hooper long-term says they're not going forward with Njoku. And he probably said, hey, let's get out. I think the reason they waited until now to request the trade was Rosenhaus wanted to see, could he find a trade partner before he caused a stink in a locker room. I don't think they request a trade unless they feel like they have somebody lined up ready to make a deal.
And all the reports are right now that it is the Dallas Cowboys. That is
right now the
one
Cowboys, I didn't
reported
see
to.
that. I follow a lot of Patriot blogs, and a lot of Patriot fans or the bloggers are all wanting the Pats to make this deal. And something that's pretty interesting about it, I thought they had a really good chance as soon as I saw Drew was his agent. Bill and Drew get along extremely well. The Patriots signed a lot of Drew Rosenhaus guys. And the biggest reason is because Drew, while he is a shrewd agent and hardcore, Bill appreciates that because he's hardcore. He's very cutthroat. He's very business oriented. But it's the fact that they don't bullshit one another. Tell me what your client wants. If I can make it work, we'll do a deal. If I can't, we'll walk away, and there's no use in dicking around.
Yeah.
And that's the reason they get so many deals done so quickly. And so I got excited about that. I'd love to see him go to the Patriots. If he goes to the Cowboys, though, that's the only missing piece they have on offense. That wide receiving core, I think, is the best in the league. The running back and the offensive line is one of the best situations in the NFL. Dak is more than capable at quarterback, and they've got a dud at tight end, which is kind of fine if the rest of the team is great. That's where you'd rather have a dud. If you replace that with just a freak athlete, which Njoku hasn't really projected to anything much, but this is going to get the best out of him if he goes to Dallas.
No, I think you're right. Joseph Gomez.
They are going to become a Big 12 football team because that team defensively is bad.
And the coaching staff is pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty good coaching staff that they brought in. Joseph Gomez said, here, give me 1 second. Injured for about 2 of those years. He has shown flashes in the year. He said New York, the Chargers, and the Texans should be in the mix.
Yeah, I completely agree with all of that. I think the Texans should be involved. I think the Chargers should absolutely be involved, seeing as Hunter Henry is going to be a free agent after this year. And you could pick up Njoku's 5th year, I believe, pretty cheap. So,
yeah, I think it's worthwhile. I think it's definitely worthwhile. The timing seemed odd because to me, if they signed Hooper back in April, but the way that you explained it makes a whole lot of sense to me. You want to find
you don't want to request a
partner.
trade if you don't know that you've got a trade partner willing to come and get you, because then you could just make yourself look like a fool. Teams see you look like a problem child, and you want to know somebody wants you and is willing to pay a price for you before you say, "Hey, I'd like to get dealt."
That makes a whole lot of sense. Okay, let's move on from that one, and let's dive into Victor Oladipo. The NBA bubble is going on. Victor Oladipo has said that he will sit out the NBA restart, and he's doing it to prioritize his health. Yep. The article reads, he is deciding to opt out of the plan to resume the 2020 season at Disney World Oladipo tore his quad tendon last season and made his return in late January, just about 6 weeks before play was suspended due to the coronavirus pandemic. As a result of his health situation, Oladipo told The Athletic in an interview that he just doesn't feel comfortable returning to play under these circumstances. I really want to play, and as a competitor and teammate, this is tearing me apart. I feel like I'm at a great place in my rehab and getting closer and closer to 100%. With all the variables from how I have to build my 5-on-5 workload back up to the increased risk of a soft tissue injury, which we've talked about, which could delay my rehab, and the unknown exact setup of the bubble, I just can't get my mind to being fully comfortable in playing. I have to be smart, and this decision has not been easy, but I truly believe continuing on the course I'm on and getting fully healthy for the 2020-21 season is the right decision for me. We have talked over and over. We even had a physical therapist on the show to discuss these soft tissue injuries and maybe coming back too soon after being off for so long without real proper workload and what kind of damage that could do. And we didn't even think about the people that were coming back off of injuries and what that can end up doing to them. This makes a whole lot of sense, but it really hurts the Pacers going forward.
No, this is going to crush the Pacers' chance in the East. I think Victor had to play out of his mind for them to come out of the East.
Oh yeah.
I think Milwaukee and the 76ers and the Celtics
Raptors and
the Raptors as well, are just so much better than them, and they would have needed to catch just lightning in a bottle, and Victor would have had to just play outside of his mind for the next 3 months for them to come out of that division and that conference. And so, if you think it's a long shot anyway, you're just going to tear it. And we fully believe this season's going to end. These guys might get a couple of weeks off, and then the next season's going to begin. If you don't think you can win it this year, sit out, try to make next year work.
Yeah.
And try to get to the start of next year healthy. See, can you play the entire season healthy next year and have a real shot at competing for the East?
Yes, I agree 100%. I think it's the smart move.
And it's tough, man.
Yeah.
I get it. And a lot of people crush these guys. And we've, I've been guilty of crushing guys in the past that sat out of playoffs and you got a chance to win now and whatever. But in realistic terms, you don't.
Yeah.
It would just be so hard for them to do it.
Yes, agreed. Damian jumps in, by the way, jumping back to David Njoku. He said, hey, why not Chicago? I mean, we still have room for more tight ends. Damn you, Ryan Pace.
Ryan Pace is just the worst GM in football right now. I mean,
he's pretty bad.
Bill O'Brien, Ryan Pace are in a fist fight for who could be the worst GM in football.
Yes, I agree. Let's move off of the NBA. Let's move off the NFL for a little bit. And we're going to talk about a very interesting story that popped up this morning. 5-star Makur Maker has committed to Howard. That is an HBCU. He is the first 5-star to ever do it. And it is incredibly interesting. I saw
what
this.
What is he ranked in the top basketball guys? I mean, he's not just a 5-star. He's ranked up there, right?
He's on up there. He's not like a top 5 guy, but
he's like a top 20 guy.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a 5-star. There's not that many of those. Let's see. I'm reading the article here. He said, Blakeney said, we're not sure what this is going to look like, but we're beyond excited. He planned to announce his college decision on July 9th, which is the South Sudan Independence Day. This is the tweet that he sent out. He said, I was the first to announce my visit to Howard, and others started to dream what if. I needed to make the HBCU movement real so that others will follow. I hope I inspire guys like Mikey Williams to join me on this journey. I am committing to Howard U and Coach Kenny Blakeney. He's the number 16 player in the ESPN 100. And so
there you go.
This is a massive
Hell yes.
and not an issue. This is
it's a massive deal. It's not an issue.
Yes, it's I don't even know how to explain it. Like, we haven't seen anything like this because typically it doesn't happen. He had Kentucky, Memphis, and Kansas all going after him.
That's right.
And he chose Howard over them. This is a big deal. Yep. So what were your thoughts when you first saw this? Because I had no idea how to react.
I do think this is the first of a new trend that's gonna start happening more often than not. Okay.
Yeah.
I think a lot, especially with the culture and what we're seeing going on in our country today. I think a lot of these historical all black schools are gonna start pulling big time recruits in big time athletics. There was a Ringer podcast this week on the NFL Ringer show where Deshaun Watson was on there, and he was asked, did you ever consider going to any of these HBC schools? And he said no. He went to Clemson, obviously. He said, and I probably wouldn't have, but none of them even talked to me. And I think they saw, you only have so many recruiting resources, so you can't really waste a lot of time on guys that you think are going to go play major D1 ball. But we're getting to a point where it's worth at least reaching out to these top tier guys to say, hey, are you interested? And if they're interested, then you put the resources together. It costs you nothing to find out if they're interested or not. And you try to start, recruiting them and getting them to commit and buy in, with Black Lives Matter and what's going on in our country. I think this is going to be pretty exciting.
Yes. I can't wait to see what this is going to look like. Just to give everybody an idea of how big of a difference this is, this move to Howard in Ken Palm's ratings, like obviously he has his preseason ratings and whatnot, but it moves them from number 320-something. There's only 350 some odd schools.
Pretty much DFL.
And it moves them all the way up into the 250s. Yep. Like that is
one player can make
70-something. Yeah, it's insane.
In basketball.
Damian said, did Howard get paid under the table too? No, we've discussed, how do you make that work? Because if he's a 5-star, he's worth something.
We know he's getting something if we really understand how the sausage is made in college athletics. And that was the first thing that came to my mind is he turning down obscene amounts of money for a cause? Or, I have to expect that Howard has plenty of alumni that have been extremely successful, love basketball, and have a lot of pride in the school in which they went. And they could generate the funds needed, mainly because they're not generating them for 12 of the entire roster, basically.
Yeah, it's just
you go
one
to Duke,
guy.
you go to Kentucky, everybody on the roster is on the take. Howard, probably not like that. Can you generate enough funds? Can you pass the plate enough to get one or two of these guys? I think you can.
And if you
you can pretty quick, and you really don't have to get that deep into every alumni's pocket to do it.
Ben said Howard is better than Georgetown. Yeah, probably so.
You know what? That's tough for Georgetown. Dude, we've talked about this in the past. I want Georgetown to be so good now with
Patrick Ewing.
With Patrick taking over that program and what he's just growing up loving that guy. I want good things for Georgetown, but
it is what it is.
Maybe Patrick can turn it around and get some of these big time recruits.
We shall see. But Howard is getting it done. They knocked this out.
Howard got this one done, and the fact that he called out another player by name, saying maybe we can get these guys. Does he have connections? Are they friends? I'm sure they've played AAU ball. All these guys in the AAU circle know each other. They're very close. It's a very small knit. There's 100 kids worth a damn in the AAU that are going to go play college ball. All 100 of them know one another. Okay.
Yes.
So is there a relationship where he thinks they can make that work?
I mean,
that would be amazing if they pulled another big 4-star guy or whatever. That would be amazing. You're looking at a potential tournament team.
Yes, you definitely are. Like especially in their conference, right?
That's it. Oh yeah.
I mean, we'll see. But this one guy changes everything
in
for
a
that basketball
game
program.
in which there are only 5 men on a court at one time. Yes, one monster can totally change your stars.
It is really, really interesting. I'm
excited. I'm really excited to see this.
I want to see what it's going to look like. I want to see
it play out.
Like, I wonder about
the coaching staff now, though. I will tell you that because now you are responsible for the molding of this guy and preparing him not just for the tournament and for your team and your season, but preparing him for the NBA. for the pros.
Damian.
That's a lot of pressure.
No, it's definitely that. Damian jumped in and said Howard is better than Yale.
Well,
Look, Georgetown, if we're talking basketball, yeah, absolutely. Maybe as a school, better. Yale's basketball team's really, really good.
Yeah, Yale's basketball team's made tournaments and won tournament games, haven't they?
Yes.
They've upset some guys in the past.
They've got a phenomenal coach. They are.
That's tough, yeah.
And so, but hey, I mean, we'll see. This year's a whole lot different.
I don't know how many 5-stars Yale's pulled in the past, though.
That's what I'm saying. That's what different. I'm saying. It changes things up a little bit.
Yes.
Let's move to the NFL very quickly. The Redskins. Obviously, there is a whole lot going on here. Apparently, the minority owners talked to Daniel Snyder and requested that the name be changed. Google took all of the Redskins merch off of their search page. So
Nike?
Nike did the same thing. Ben jumped in and said Howard is better than Bama. Like, maybe as a school. Maybe as a basketball program.
Yes, nobody's going to question that.
But
you're talking about a state school in the SEC. Come on, man.
No, you dead on about that. All right. So the Redskins announced on Friday, today, that they would begin a thorough review of the team's name. It's a potential culmination to years of protest and defiance over a nickname that many Native Americans and other advocates for change considered deeply offensive. So here's the thing. Daniel Snyder said way back when that he would never change the name of this team. Never.
You got to be real careful with the word never.
Oh, you absolutely do. But he told this reporter.
Making definitive proclamations for the end of time. I am uncertain of many, many things.
There is a article that Daniel Snyder keeps in his pocket. And while he always says that he will never change the team name, the reason he keeps this article with him all the time is, I think it was 2013, when they polled Native Americans on whether or not the term Redskins was offensive as a team name. And over 90% of those that were polled said, no, it was not offensive.
Yeah.
That's what he is clinging to for dear life. Now, I'm really curious what they're going to do. Now, obviously, as long as there's a TV contract, as long as the NFL doesn't make him do anything, he's going to be profitable regardless of how many financial people decide to pull out, whether FedEx decides to pull out, whether Nike decides to pull out, whether, all of this different stuff. If he doesn't want to change it, if it's a mental thing with him and he doesn't want to change it, then he's not going to. This is up to one person. So I'm very curious about this, review that they're going to go through. I wonder if it's all a show or if we're actually going to see this happen, because and there are other reports that say that this could end up happening before the 2020 season.
Yep.
So give me your thoughts here. Obviously, our buddies in the Westlake Pirates think that the term red tails.
Nope.
Go ahead. I'll let you talk.
So my first thought about the article is I'd be the pointing back to an old article where these people were polled reminds me a whole lot of the governor of Mississippi saying, yes, well, we voted on it in the past and it was voted to keep it. Well, when we voted on it in the past, yes, that was in the past. Also, and
things change.
Many of people were offended by it. Okay. So keeping it hurt people and made people upset and uncomfortable. Changing it hurts no one. All right. And so that's kind of my stance on it. I don't want to try to speak for the Native American people. I have no earthly idea how they really feel about it. We do have a problem in our country where a lot of folks try to create victims out of people that don't see themselves as a victim. We like to get offended on others' behalfs. If this is something that is a problem with the Native American community, it needs to be changed.
Yes. Agreed.
So it was pointed out by our buddies at Westlaw. I don't remember if it was John or Scuzz, but the Red Tails idea, which the Red Tails were the Who did they fight?
I'm trying to think. It was the African American.
Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah, the Tuskegee Airmen.
What they were called.
That's it. Yep. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they had the same. Literally, they use this color scheme on their planes, which is a burgundy maroon type color with a yellow. They were called the Red Tails. I think it's an easy, unbelievable, smooth transaction to make. We've seen some mock-ups of some really cool logos and what they would look like. You're in DC. You're going to make it a military, patriotic kind of thing. You get to keep your same color scheme that your fans have put all over them forever. It's not a massive change or transition for people. And I think it works. If they make the change, that's the only answer I've got. If they go to the Senators or something else political because they're in DC, it's going to piss me off. And I'm not going to be a fan of that. But this is one answer I'm good with. I have also seen the idea of, can they go the warrior route and just use a spear, which they already have a logo where it's just a spear, and call them warriors. Therefore, it's not necessarily Native Americans. A warrior can be any type of battle guy. And could they get away with it and go that route? I wouldn't be opposed to either. I love the red tail idea. Once I heard it, once I looked into it and looked it up, I was crazy all in on that idea, and thought this is something I would actually like to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's an easy transit. Red Tails, Redskins, it's very similar. Color scheme's the same.
Color schemes was the same, yes.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Damien said, so since Washington is changing the Redskins name, should the Cleveland Indians and the Patriots change their name too?
Why would the Patriots change their name?
I don't know why the Patriots would change their name, but the Cleveland Indians, and then you've got the Kansas City Chiefs, and et cetera, right?
So I'll tell you my opinion. Now, once again, I am not speaking for the Native American community. I don't know how they feel. The Indian community, I've heard podcasts where people come, and it's okay to call them Indians. Like, they accept that word. And
I don't believe Chiefs is offensive either.
Huh?
I don't believe Chiefs or Indians is offensive.
I don't believe that the Chiefs is an offensive name. That's just a person in the Native American community.
Right. But
it's not offensive.
But the Redskins, however, that is...
The Redskins was a slur.
It was a derogatory term.
The name Indian is not I mean, that would be like the Irish. Okay. It's just a group of people as their mascot. Now, Chief Wahoo was very racist. They have done away with Chief Wahoo. I completely agree with that. 100% needed to go. But I don't know that the name Indians needs to go. I mean, that would be no different than, like I said, the Irish or the Vikings. Like, that was just a group of people. Yeah. And we have groups of people that make up mascots all the time.
Ben said, I hope it's not a bad change like the Bullets to the Wizards.
No, I will tell you that I've seen some other things thrown out that I just loathe. I just hate, like I said, if they go to the Senators or something like, I'm just going to be mad.
I can't tell if Damien is trying to mess with us or not. He said the Patriots should change the name because they represent the Confederation.
No, they don't. They represent they were the Minutemen. They were the ones that threw out the British.
That's what I mean. It's in New England. Like, it's
those Minutemen are not Confederates. They were the founding fathers of our country that threw the British back into the Atlantic.
Yeah, they were the founders of America. Like,
they're patriots. That has nothing to do with Confederacy.
Yeah, that's strange. That's why I was trying to figure out, is he messing with us or is he not?
I don't know what that means.
So either way. All right. So we're done with the Washington NFL team. Let's jump into a little more NFL news to close us out on a Friday for July 4th holiday weekend. The NFLPA has voted against any 2020 preseason games. Now, we're going to see what happens with this. The vote came as a result of discussion within union leadership on whether or not it would be smart to play any preseason games, and after 2 days of time to mull the current situation regarding a return to work amid the COVID-19 pandemic, players decided in favor of a longer runway for preparation for the NFL's regular season. The NFL, meanwhile, maintains a desire to trim the preseason schedule from 4 games to 2 in an effort to create a longer ramp-up period. The league believes it is within its rights to, within the current collective bargaining agreement, to set the preseason schedule. And let's see, Garofalo says during his report to NFL Now, he said, it's clear that the union and the league are not on the same page with regard to the length of the preseason right now. I don't know what to think of this. It scares me a little bit because obviously we had this issue with Major League Baseball.
Signs of baseball.
Yeah, and we're getting closer to the season, but we ain't there yet. And now this is obviously over something different. I don't think this has anything to do with pay per se. But we do know that the NFLPA, pretty strong organization. What do you see coming out of this?
I don't know, and I'm trying to think what the reasoning behind wanting no preseason would be. If you're a veteran, I know why you don't want the preseason, is because that's an opportunity for you to show that you're out of shape and let these young guys come in and take your job.
Yeah.
And if you're a GM and a coach and you're putting together your 53-man roster, you're going to be more apt to keep the veteran that you think you know what he's got left in the tank and is capable of, as opposed to this young wild card that you don't know when you get down to the chopping block of who's getting cut and who's not.
Yeah.
And I think this is a move by veterans that don't want preseason. They never want practice. They want as little practice as possible. They always fight for less practice time. but also I think they think this will help keep the age of the average player older, and it would save a lot of their jobs.
Yeah, I could see that, especially right now. You know, you want to see that. It's very strange that this is what we've turned into
to think
in
that
July.
You can start a season where you haven't hit anyone else on another team.
It's
you
strange.
haven't run a single scrimmage again where you're going live, because in no time in real practice are you going live against a quarterback.
Yeah, it's really weird, and why obviously what you said makes sense with the veterans, but it's still weird. So we're gonna bookmark that one. We're gonna keep our finger on it and just pay attention and see what happens, because that's not major news right now. And obviously the league still has the right to set the preseason schedule, and they've already cut 2 of the games off. But if we get into a back and forth between the NFLPA and the league itself, I mean, who knows where that could end up going. Damien said, question, if the NFL is taking away the preseason and training camps, how the hell does the NFL expect the teams to cut the roster short if they can't see them train? That makes no sense. Well, that's what we were just talking about.
Practice, but that'll be their only way of doing it.
Yeah, that's and I'm sure that's this is first world problems, right? This is no big deal. If you're a coach, you got to make hard decisions. Is what it is. A lot of cases, coach is going to go with the player that he knows as opposed to the potential on the other one, especially if you were in a win now mode, right? If you're trying to get rid of somebody.
I would say the teams that this helps are the teams like the 49ers that, for the most part, are bringing the majority of the team back and made it to the Super Bowl last year and has a pretty good mix of veteran and young guys, but no new players that need to just be really thrown in and battle tested. The teams that it hurts are teams with new coaches and new quarterbacks.
Yes. Oh, big time. Big time.
Those teams, you can just start betting all the unders on all of those guys, because the first 4 weeks are going to be pure D hell.
Yes, indeed they are. All right, have you seen anything else break?
No, the only thing I've got is the MLB has successfully tested all 3,185 people that are going to be around the team's facility. This is managers, umpires, other coaches, players, everyone. In 38 cases, that is 1.2% positive coronavirus.
That's impressive.
That's a good number. It's not a bad number. And then the other thing, just a little bit of baseball. I follow the Red Sox. You know that. You know I love them.
Of course.
the Red Sox have been sharing out on social media today, all day, pictures of how they've redone Fenway because there's going to be no fans. They're utilizing all of Fenway as training. The corridors have carpet laid out like AstroTurf, and they've got batting cages lined up around them. They've got weight rooms like bench press machines and stuff all kind of scattered throughout, so plenty of people can work out, not be around anybody. All of the suites around them, the players will get ready in the suites, and those big suites that you have, 2 players to a suite.
That's
and
pretty
the pictures
nice.
Look really cool the way they've done them up. So I'm going to bet other teams are doing this. I follow the Red Sox, so I see all of their stuff on social media. But it's a pretty neat way to say, hey, we're an old ballpark. We don't have a lot of the new facilities that other people have. Some other teams don't need to do these things because they've got all this stuff like underground or whatever. Red Sox don't, and they're utilizing what they've got, and it looks pretty cool.
I can get down with that.
So
Damien,
I thought it was neat, and it's worth checking out if you're interested or care at all.
Where is it, on the Twitter?
Well, yeah, the Red Sox. I just add the Red Sox on Twitter. That's
okay,
what I saw.
Yeah, I'm guessing
they
at
shared
Red
a bunch
Sox.
of stuff out.
Yeah.
So.
To close this out, Damien said, "By the way, do y'all believe me now that sports is not happening this year?" No, we don't buy that at all.
I think the NFL is absolutely happening. I think baseball is absolutely happening. Baseball came back with over 3,000 people, and less than 38 of them got popped for positive tests, and none of them are really sick. They just tested positive. Oh, I think that's a hell of a number.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Those 38 people, everybody else is in a bubble and safe. They're going to play.
Jose decided to jump in at the end. He said, the question, NFL-wise, is what about the number 1 draft picks? Do they get cut too? No. They have guaranteed contracts.
I'll tell you this, almost no draft picks. All your undrafted guys are who's worried.
Yeah, that's who typically comes in and takes jobs. So,
yep.
So if you don't get to see the undrafted guys come in and really work out and whatnot, we'll see. We'll see. All right, that is going to wrap up today's show. You guys have been wonderful in the comments. We appreciate everybody for jumping in. As always, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you share out the show. Leave a nice 5-star review over on the podcast. We can't thank you enough. We don't ask you to pay for anything. We just ask for a little bit of your time. It takes about a minute to go leave a 5-star review, so go knock that out. If you got questions for us, you can always leave it in there. Knock that thing out. Go to sportsbookreview.com. Go to winningcureseverything.com. Make sure that you share the stuff out, that you check out all the stuff that we've got up. We appreciate you guys. We hope that you have a safe, wonderful July 4th weekend. It's going to be a hell of a weekend, and we can't wait to get back to you next week. So take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We'll see you on Monday. Thanks for checking out Winning Cures Everything. If you want to keep up with us, hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Visit the website at winningcureseverything.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us at Winning Cures, at Gary WCE, or at Chris B. Giannini on Twitter. Share out the show, leave a nice review, and make sure to comment and tweet at us.